Oh, man, that was crazy work. I'm gonna let Hood do all this. He's here.
You got the rest in front of their name.
I'm gonna say all this.
We didn't rehearse that part. Okay, we're ready to start with the student athletes from Mississippi State. Reminder, as a courtesy to your fellow media members, please silence your cell phone. Please provide, we have handheld mics. Please provide your name, raise your hand, we'll get them to you. Provide your name, media affiliation, and if you could, if you're asking a question of a specific student athlete, address them directly. If you're joining on Zoom, we'll handle all the questions from people in the room first, and raise your hand and we will reach you for questions. And a reminder that recording this press conference on cell phones or cameras is prohibited. Okay, who's the first question? Second row to our right.
Gracie Barr with WCBI. Shaquille, how excited are you to play in your home state? And I mean, how many people do you have coming to this game?
I'm really excited, and I have a bunch of family that's coming, especially on my dad's side. It's a good opportunity for me and for them to see me. They don't get to see me that much, so I'm excited.
Hey, Kelly Blackburn with the Niner Times. You know, you guys lost 3 in a row at the end of the regular season, but you really bounced back in the SEC tournament, defeating LSU and Tennessee. How do you plan to continue to move forward and just make a statement for yourselves in this tournament?
Tully, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think those losses helped us, motivated us going into the SEC tournament. And I think we have all the confidence in the world right now going into the NCAA tournament. So we just got to bottle that up and use it for this game and the next games.
Josh.
Just following back on what Tolu said, just using that same momentum, you know, from the tournament, and knowing the confidence and positivity that we have, you know, through adversity. We know that we can compete with any team. So just following the game plan each game and taking one game at a time.
Deshaun?
In the beginning of the season, we had a common goal that we shared with one another, so we just knew, like, any roadblocks or any hardships that we had to get through it. So those 3 losses ain't really hurt us mentally.
Cameron?
Yeah, back like what they said. Just, you know, just staying resilient and not getting too high, not getting too low, and just staying in course no matter what.
Shaquille?
Most definitely. And piggyback off what Josh said, just take it one game at a time, keeping our resilience and confidence, you know, at a high, never too low, and you know, just handling what we got to handle.
Cam, what has your relationship with DJ meant to you, and how excited are you that you get to finish playing with him in the tournament?
It means a lot. Just looking back at it, just us being kids in high school and how long it's been a great journey with my brother, and I'm just excited I get to share a moment like March Madness with him.
I guess for any of you, what have you seen from Michigan State on the tape so far, and what's it going to take to beat them tomorrow?
We'll start to our right. Shaquille.
We know we got to, you know, beat them on the backboards. You know, that's our main thing is, you know, winning the backboard battle and just staying resilient on defense.
Cam?
Just doing what we do, defense, rebounding, and just trying to maintain their offensive tempo and pace and transition, just trying to slow them down, things like that.
Deshaun?
They got great players, they got a great system, a great coach, so we know we got to execute our game plan, play physical, play harder than them in all aspects.
Josh, your turn.
Just control the pace of the game, you know, the tempo of the game, and defense and rebounding would be key to the game. So.
Tully?
What everybody said, staying within ourselves and doing exactly what these guys just said. So.
Josh, just to reach this stage as a freshman, is it surreal to you? What was it like to see the court, and how excited are you to participate in the big dance?
Yeah, I'm really excited. definitely a surreal moment. As a little kid, you dream of moments like these. But we all deserve this moment. We all put in a lot of work. Coach Jans deserves it too. He installed a lot of great things in us. So I'm not surprised that we made it this far because it's what we deserve. We worked hard for it, and we have a lot of high expectations for it. So
Back of the room.
Blake Froling, Spartan Media Network. For Michigan State fans who have never seen Mississippi State play, what would you guys say is the identity of the program this year?
Defense, rebounding, and toughness.
Oh, good. Good.
Defense, rebounding, and toughness.
Yeah, just being really physical, really getting after it, picking it up on defense, just trying to make defense into offense.
Yeah, it's just like they said, it's probably going to be the physical game they played all year.
yeah, just being physical and making the other team uncomfortable, putting them in bad situations. So.
Yeah, what they said, playing defense, playing our game, executing how we execute, and just being resilient. So.
Other questions? If there are any questions on Zoom, please use the raise hand function. We'll get those as well. Any other questions in the room? Okay, guys, thank you. We'll start with Coach Jans at 11:20.
How's my initial? That's for damn sure.
It's okay. At least you guys made the tournament this year. It definitely hurt considering the year prior was so good.
Only the preseason number, what, 30 something years? And
So what happened this year?
teammates cheating on each other's girlfriend. Yeah. I'd say that constitute working well together.
I really hope nobody asks a type of question like that during the players' press conference. That, like, gotta snatch them. That is a, oh, snatch the mic out of your hand. That is a, you might catch it with your feet hearing, and you're done.
Wouldn't that be ironic if Arizona and California had to play each other?
There's been a lot of people who made that joke. I did not. I don't think in my bracket Arizona went that far.
Bottom half of the brackets is so weak. I mean, the 3 seeds made it. They've got 10 losses. This tournament,
My bracket was a little all over the place. There's a lot of good reasoning behind it.
You got Carolina winning.
Of course I do. I do that. No matter even if I think they're gonna lose or win, I always put Carolina to win in my bracket. It's like the first bracket I ever made was like when I was 10 years old, and something like I've done consistently. Just keeps it good. But I have Tennessee and Carolina.
Interesting. Would be one boring game. Talk about defense and defense. Ugh.
It would be extremely boring. But when I was like going going through my bracket, like literally, as it was just going through, that's just how it like ended up being. And I was like, well, submit, I guess.
I mean, if talent beats talent, you can go a long way. They just produced. I mean, like they could easily beat Houston. Because I mean, Houston has no offense, but if Duke's offense decides not to show up, you know, with 50 points in it.
I have Duke winning in the first round, but I have Duke going out next year.
Wisconsin or James Madison. What is their plan to do? Can't really fault for that.
I was not going to make James Madison and Wisconsin my Pac-12 upset.
I've got like 2 5-12 upsets every year. For some reason, I'm just like I think I've got like McNeese over Gonzaga, and then maybe UAB. No.
I have
Oh, Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon's the other one. San Diego State. It's close.
UAB was pretty good this year. They sure made UNC Charlotte feel it.
Intern with the sports information department.
No. So I took a little break from school to basically kind of clear my head. So I'm like very stressed out and overwhelmed. And there was like a part of me that really wanted to like go into the sports industry, but I was very scared because I was already like fully into like advertising and stuff. So I kind of like take a step back and be like, what do I want to do? So this is my first semester back. So I haven't like really done any internships. This is like the first like thing I've done so far. It's a great
That's the get you done on the street before you applaud that. Because a lot of people are like, I'm going for school for a year. If you're not on the right path, it's stress you out.
It's definitely a marathon, not a sprint.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Provincetown High School.
Was that?
It is. I'm originally from Raleigh, but like when I got to like the high school age, we moved to like right outside of Ashboro.
Up that way.
I'm not a Charlottesian.
Yeah. I mean, I'm close enough to Charlotte to consider myself a Charlottesian. That's going to be a new word. Should coin that, Charlottesian. Just north of Charlotte.
Downtown, because Concord's really big. It's like no special. Speedway side of Concord.
You know your way around.
I do. I used to work in Concord. I used to work at Rocky River Golf Club.
Okay. We played there a ton in high school. I played 4 years varsity golf in high school. I went to the Northwest Commanders.
I played varsity golf too. I was captain my senior team.
Junior and senior. Okay. I see you.
Yeah, I used to like play a lot. I kind of slow down a lot. Once I could play more.
Life will do that too.
Life will do that. Yeah, I'm not paying $50 to go play around at all.
Everybody's like, yeah, right?
Listen, I was spoiled. I had gotten it for free for so long that when I finally had to start paying for it, I was like, all right, clubs, I'll dust y'all off one day.
Exactly. People are always like, hey, you need to put out this game for Swiss team. I'm like, how much is it per person? I'm like, oh, $100. I'm like, I got work.
What time is that? 2 minutes. I need to grab because I don't like want to put my phone in my pocket. Like, one, it'll look really chunky, and two, I'm scared it's gonna fall out. It just gets unprofessional.
Okay, we're here for till 11:35, 15 minutes with Coach Zans. Questions, raise your hand. Let's get the handheld mic to you. The first question, middle of the room.
Chris, on Sunday you mentioned you guys wouldn't be in this position without Guy and Jimmy and what they did when Tolu was out. I guess you can throw Sean Jones into that group too when DJ went out in the middle of the year, and that was a big part of your season. Just how important was his play during that stretch to get you guys out of that early SEC season funk and help you guys down the stretch of the year?
I think every coach would tell you when they get into recruiting mode, certainly you're trying to find the best and the brightest and those that fit your system, and then at the same time, guys that will end up choosing you and your program, and we're no different. We were trying to build depth as best we could because of the what-if scenarios that always seem to come up every season, and like I said Sunday with Jimmy and especially Guy, he's a true freshman that the plan was to redshirt. We never had any intentions of playing him. We knew that he needed development, but he played some meaningful minutes in some huge games and got us through some tough spots when Tolu wasn't available. And then Jimmy, the work that he put in and the numbers that he put up, I just don't believe that, we wouldn't have more losses if we didn't have those two guys. And then Sean, like you mentioned, to me it wasn't as big a deal just because we expect him going into the season to have a better year, to play more minutes, and to give us productivity, and he's been able to do that.
Second row to our right.
Chris, I know you had spoken highly of Isaac when you guys were getting ready for senior day, and he was the only one that was on this team now that was around last time Mississippi State won a tournament game. What are kind of your impressions of kind of how he's been ingrained in Mississippi State and what he's been able to add off the court for this team?
Yeah, I love having Isaac Stansbury on our team. What I love the most about him is when he gets in that game, he plays the right way. And he would never say anything to anybody else, but if he's out there and someone isn't playing the right way, it disappoints him. He practices at such a high level. He works at his craft outside of practice, even knowing, he's not going to be in the guts of the game when the score is in balance. And I think it says a lot about who he is and what his makeup is. And if he had any more eligibility, I would be begging him to come back and be a part of our program because he brings positivity to it.
Stay second row.
Hey, Chris, Ben Portnoy, Sports Business Journal. You've been a part of this tournament at a bunch of different places, but there's a lot of discussion about changes to the tournament, format, expansion, things like that. I guess where do you kind of fall and see the future of this tournament? Do you think it's something that should be looked at, discussed? I mean, where do you kind of fall on that front?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about that just because at the end of the day, no one's going to care what I got to say. No one really cares what Chris Jan's opinion about expansion of the NCAA tournament, so why would I waste any of my brain power, the little that I have, of trying to come up with an answer or a point of view?
Chris, this is a Michigan State team that was ranked top 5 in the preseason AP poll, but obviously fell short of that. Is it pretty easy to overlook those shortcomings as you get ready to face them when this is a Tom Izzo coached team?
Yeah, we won't be overlooking anything that they do. They were ranked in the preseason that high for a reason, and at the end of the day, it's how they're playing now. Tom Izzo is as respected of a basketball coach that there is in college basketball. When I was growing up in the business, when I was younger, people would ask me, who's your idol, who's your mentor? And I said, I really don't have one. I didn't grow up in an athletic family. None of my parents played high school or college sports, so I was oblivious to really the profession and even college basketball for that matter. I mean, heck, I just wanted to be a high school basketball coach and a PE teacher. I thought they had the best life you could ever imagine, and eventually, I strived for a little bit more. But people would ask me that all the time, and to be honest with you, my answer was, if I had to emulate someone or some program, and I'm talking about my early 20s, I go, it would be Tom Izzo at Michigan State. I always respected the way he went about his business, the way his teams played. I wanted my teams to be looked at it that way, and I know they're not. But from an early age, in my formative years as a college coach, that was probably the person in the program that I looked up to the most. And then I chuckled when we got paired up with him, because I'm sure he had to look down his staff and say, hey, who is Chris Jans and who are we playing against? Because I'm sure he had to ask a couple people to get some information about me. So it's a privilege to be able to get a chance to share the floor with him and to compete against him.
Second row.
Mark Cannizzaro from the New York Post. Chris, curious what attracted you initially to Deshaun, and can you describe what he has meant to this program since he got here?
Yeah, he was one of our first guys we targeted, and we got on him obviously in the portal, and we knew him from his junior college days. Our staff had been familiar with him when he was a junior college player. Obviously, he didn't end up choosing us when we were at New Mexico State, but then he had a great year at Oregon State his first year. He led the Pac-12 in assists. His shooting numbers weren't as good as we thought they could be, for us. And we just, obviously developed relationships with him like everybody does in recruiting. But I think our familiarity with him, we had some relationships already in place. We had recruited him, before. But, we certainly were glad when he chose us. Yeah, I'm on record saying this a number of times. We're at our best when he is revving the engine defensively for us. He is a disruptive defender. He's big, strong. He's got a competitive streak in him. And when he gets out there and bothers the ball handler and gets them out of their comfort zone, it helps our team because they see it visually, and I think it motivates them as well. And then when he does that, he plays his best offense. And when he's engaged and he's thinking aggressive and he's getting downhill and he's getting the ball in the paint for himself, for others. So he's brought a ton of that to the table. And the best thing about him for us is he's probably playing his best basketball here down the stretch.
To our right on the aisle.
Aaron Beard with the AP. Chris, when you guys are playing your best defensively, what are the things that stand out to you about maybe whether it's connectedness, the intensity, the things you're looking for in those kind of moments from your group?
Yeah, well, it starts in trying to get five guys back in transition, which will be obviously very difficult against the Michigan State team. And if we can get 5-on-5, we like our chances a lot more to have a productive possession. But in the end, like when we break down the video, it always goes back to, guarding the basketball. I mean, if you can't guard the basketball by yourself at a point of attack situation or with a teammate in a ball screen situation, then you're probably going to struggle on those nights. And so, people will talk about, oh, the guy was late to the shooter, or he didn't get around the post, or whatever the case may be. But if you track it backwards, to me, it usually goes back to someone didn't guard the ball very well, and they got an angle, or the ball got to the paint, or whatever the case may be. So we spent a lot of time, talking about that and trying to physically improve on that throughout the year. And certainly, having your motors going and your engine revved and getting all that intensity in the game helps as well.
To our left aisle.
Yeah, Coach Kevin Sweeney. Curious, Josh, I think, is averaging 25 points a game in his last 8. That's, you hear about freshman walls. Obviously, he's kind of powering through that. What's allowed him to be so successful this year, and did you foresee him being able to make this level of impact as a freshman when you recruited him?
No. I didn't foresee him having that kind of impact as a true freshman. I'm glad I was wrong. I'm on record saying that I don't think anybody said that on record. And if they're thinking it and saying it now, I would question if they're telling the truth or not. Now, the people that did believe that he would were Josh Hubbard and his family. They know the work that he's put in, and now having to get to know him even better after working with him this past year, I understand why. His confidence, his belief stems from his work. He's a dogged worker. He's a disciplined worker. He works at his craft. He loves the game. It means so much to him, and he does it outside of the gym too. He's taking care of himself at a young age in terms of what he's putting in his body and his sleep and his approach. He hasn't had a bad day since he's been here. You know, he shot the ball, you know, good on some days, bad on others, but in terms of his mental approach, walking in the door every day, he's steady Eddie, he's productive, he's coachable. You know, that's the thing that sticks out the most to me is he's as coachable as anyone I've ever coached. And he's got the it factor, you know, and if you talk to other coaches, you know, that what that means, it means a lot. He just gets it. And I'm sure glad he's on our team.
Middle of the room.
Chris, Shaq Moore grew up about an hour from here. Had rough upbringing in some years, and obviously a transfer from NC State. What have you just learned about his time growing up here and sort of getting to this point with you guys at Mississippi State?
Yeah, every time we play over this way, you know, there's always some Shaq Moore family in the stands, and it's nice to see them supporting Shaq and getting to interact with them, you know, following the game. And that's one of the first things that I said once we were selected and then knew we were coming to Charlotte is that, hey man, we're going home. And certainly his, you know, smile lit up with a big, beautiful smile, and I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he gets another opportunity to play in March Madness and that he gets to do it in front of a bunch of his family and friends.
To our right.
Chris, you were talking about the respect you had for Tom Izzo earlier. I guess, why do you think he's been able to have the longevity that he's had and you know, stay in his, you know, successful role even as the game has changed throughout the years?
I mean, gosh, I don't really know, to be honest with you, other than I would imagine, first and foremost, he's a hell of a basketball coach. You know, I think it starts with there. I mean, you don't go to, what's it, 25, 26, 27 consecutive, mind you, NCAA tournaments in a row. I just can't imagine what that would feel like having to do that. I mean, that's a lot. You talk about consistency. You're talking about you know, believing in your system, the recruiting aspect of it. You know, to continue to do it at that level, I don't care what the front of your jersey says. That's a difficult task, and I think all of college basketball admires him for being able to do that. But I'm sure what I just said, the words I just used, probably had a lot to do with, you know, why he's been able to do that at Michigan State. You know, being a great coach, you know, having a consistent approach, having a belief in their system, hiring, you know, really good coaches around him. But there's a lot to it, and you know, that's quite the accomplishment. You know, and he's done it all. You know, all the Final Fours, the national championships, Hall of Fame coach. Whenever he decides, you know, he's had enough, he'll be revered as good a coach as there ever was.
Last question, back of the room.
Blake Froling, Spartan Media Network. As you look at the tape with the Spartans, is there an area you see as the biggest matchup problem for you guys, and then an area that you think you really can exploit?
The first thing that jumps off the page to me is just how quickly they get the ball up the court. Certainly everybody runs on turnovers, and most people push it on misses. But when that ball goes through the net, I'm not so certain that they're not better that way than they even are in missed shots. I mean, they get the ball out of that net, and they know where they're outletting the ball, and those guys run the wings, and they rim run, and they give that passer options. And if you're not on your P's and Q's and you celebrate it all on a made shot, or you don't think get back or sprint back and whatever your assignment is defensively, it's over. They're laying the ball in, or they're hoisting up a wide open three, and that's what jumps out at me the most. I don't spend a lot of time watching other teams during the season, so I wasn't familiar with that. When I think of Michigan State, it's more the toughness, the rebounding, you know, Tom Izzo, but that's what surprised me the most. And you know, it's easy to say in terms of, yeah, let's get back and guard them, but it's hard to do when, you know, they do it at such breakneck speed. In terms of, you know, anything that we can exploit, I mean, they're so well-rounded. I'm sure the local people, you know, have been riding them this and that because they lost a game or two here or there, but look at their schedule. I mean, their non-league schedule was off the chart. You know, who knows if he knew James Madison and Indiana State and folks like that were going to be as good as they were. So when they made that schedule, maybe they thought that was going to be you know, more of a relaxing game. But it's just scattered and littered with great programs up and down their schedule.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next will be the student athletes from North Carolina. We'll start at 11:50.
I was like, I need to like really just have like a tough day. You guys not having. Do you want to step in and do one? Are you still doing okay?
Yeah, I can step in and do one.
You want to do this one?
Sure.
Or do you want to wait for the coach?